Deepak Ballani, DG ISMA, joins us for a quick chat. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Two key things that you've highlighted today is, of course, number one, the ethanol procurement, and second is, of course, the MSP and the FRP linkages. Highlight for us, first of all, sir, when it comes to the ethanol procurement, sir, what went wrong? Because initially you were the major supplier, now cruising down to 28 odd percent. Why is the government kind of differentiating between the maize and other stuff versus sugar, whereas it was you who actually started the ethanol blending program's core agenda and of course the backbone? So what's really happening now here, sir?
You very rightly said that sugar was the backbone of the ethanol blending program. And in 2019, when Niti Aayog came out with a report of E20, a roadmap, they estimated that 55% of the ethanol will be taken from the sugar sector when they achieve E20. This year, commendable achievement by the government, and because of their policies, the government, the India has been able to achieve E20, and the tender of 1,050 crore litre this year, we were hoping a very large allotment. We were at least hoping for 475 crore litre of allotment, but unfortunately, the sugar industry has only got an allotment of 289 crore, which is only 28% of the total tender by OMCs, which is much less than what was anticipated by Niti Aayog. And as you know, we have a huge capacities over the years because of the schemes of the government, because of the support by the government. The industry has invested with 40,000 crore rupees in creating a capacity of 900 crore litre. But with 85% to 90% efficiency, and also some of the ethanol is diverted to ENA and RS, we still have the capacity of producing and supplying 650 crore litre for the petrol blending. So we have a huge capacity, but there is a disruption this year. 290 is very less. And what is going to happen is this will lead to a very less diversion from sugar to ethanol, only 3.4 million tons. And eventually this will lead to too much of sugar in the country, which will perhaps put a downward pressure on the domestic prices, also affect the economic viability of the mills. And ultimately our responsibility is to pay to the farmer on time. We are afraid that with the reduced viability and profitability and revenue realization, this might affect the cane payments to the farmers.
Sir, the government has, of course, now stopped the E20 program for the time being, put on hold, and second of all, you were expecting E27 to happen, but now it's not happening. So, with due course of time, the ethanol production will happen because you've already established your due processes and your factories for ethanol production. So, what will happen if now you don't get much procurement for ethanol? Because agreed that flex will come, but it will take its own time. So what happens to that ethanol that you will manufacture every year, but unfortunately doesn't get procured?
So now this will, since we have to run our distilleries, we have to create a balance between sugar and ethanol. Obviously the balance will not be maintained. So if we have to divert less to ethanol, that means the industry will produce more sugar this year, which may lead to sugar glut in the country, because our domestic consumption is more or less stagnated. And even in 25-26, we are only estimating around 285 lakh tons, much less than the production. So this might lead to the distortion in the sugar prices and will lead to perhaps less economic viability for the mills, and again affect our capacity to pay to the farmers. So I believe less ethanol allocations means a cyclic problem in the sugar industry is bound to happen.
Addressing the second issue now of FRP and MSP, your third demand, of course, of the government is to allow exports so that the additional sugar that's left in the country should be exported out and sugar farmers are paid, and you also maintain a healthy balance sheet. I want to ask you, since in January we start the new sugar season, we're already in October, hitting November now. Do you expect this notification or probably this policy amendment from the government to come as soon as possible? Because eventually you will have to do this before the new sugar season starts.
The sugar season has already started. Okay. The mills are already starting. In Maharashtra, Karnataka, the mills are now starting very soon. Some of them already started. Similarly, in UP, the mills are now starting with West UP, and then towards Central and East, we will see the mill starting in November. So the sugar season is already on. We are requesting, since there is no window of exports today because the international prices are quite low, But we are hoping that we will get a window from December to March when there would be an acceptability by the world market of Indian sugar. We have requested the government to at least give an early permission of exports of 2 million tons so that we can plan for the raw sugar production as well, because seems to be a better market for raw sugar, and accordingly the contracts could be worked out. And once we have the window in December, January, most of the sugar out of the 2 million tons which could be allowed could go out of the country.
Lastly, with respect to the FRP and MSP, sir, have you sought time from the government and any response that the government is giving you? Because I'm sure you're in regular touch with Consumer Affairs Ministry, Department of Food and Public Distribution, and other ministries as well. What are the response has been, and do you expect any kind of development soon as far as FRP and MSP are concerned?
See, FRP has been increased to 355 for 25-26. We are, as I said, we are completely in favor of the increase in FRP because it helps our farmer. But at the same time, there has to be a corresponding increase in the MSP and also ethanol prices. Because of the raw material prices, which is my sugarcane, if the price of the raw material goes up, my cost of production proportionally goes up also. So MSP was last revised in 2019 to 31 rupees a kilo when the FRP was quite low. From that time to till today, my FRP has gone up by 29%. So I believe that has to be factored in. The FSP has to be accordingly increased, so that at least we increase the floor price of the sugar so that the ex-mill prices don't go below the MSP, and at least maintain a viability. We have been in discussion with the government at various levels. Government is very conducive, very supportive of the fact that it has to support the sugar industry so that the cane payments to the farmers are done on time. And we are hoping that the government will revise MSP at least to the cost of production, which is almost 40 rupees today.
Well, thank you, Mr. Ballani, for speaking to us at this today. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.